Good evening. I'm Robert Scully and welcome to another edition of Venture. Take a good look at the Canadian economy. You'll see plenty of crown corporations and private profit-making corporations, but you'll see something else also. Co-ops, lots of them. Grocery chains, insurance companies, credit unions. It's one of the major mainstays of our economy, of our way of doing business, and it's in trouble. Here's Deborah Lamb.
Bet you didn't know Saskatchewan's biggest company, the Wheat Pool, is also a co-op, farmer-owned and operated. But right now, the pool's 1-800 helplines are lit up.
Good morning, equity conversion.
Saskatchewan Wheat Pool equity conversion.
Go down to section 5A and write in the number of shares that you wish to buy.
This co-op's on the verge of a revolution, one that will take it far away from its founding principle, to be completely owned by the farmers who use it.
And do you have your membership number handy?
It's creating a big stir, because this pool's heading to Bay Street, selling shares to the public on the Toronto Stock Exchange.
We're in the situation that if we stay the same, we'll simply get trampled. We have to be able to grow and compete and meet the growing competition that's out there.
In Saskatchewan and across the country, co-op businesses are having to adapt or die.
There's a significant change taking place because we have some of our largest co-ops being very public about how they're going to do things differently and challenging our understanding of what a cooperative is.
And what is a co-op? Community-owned and run, they're a very Canadian way of doing business. They're an idea brought by settlers at the turn of the century. Now, 6 million Canadians belong. Co-ops are a huge force on the prairies, where they're everything from the photo shop to the tractor dealership. But the co-op is also the credit union or daycare in Quebec, or the corner gas station in BC. Co-ops are a simple idea. Members band together to do business, then share in the profits. It's a way of keeping money inside the communities. But lately, outside forces, international competition and deregulation are shaking co-ops right to their roots. For the Wheat Pool, the threat's moving in fast. New super-efficient grain elevators from the U.S. Pool delegate Grant Fallman believes the co-op has to fight back.
You don't do your members any good by running your business right into the ground and going out.
But how to get hundreds of millions of dollars to build their own fancy elevators when co-op bylaws require profits go back to the farmers? That's why the pool's going to the stock market, selling shares to outsiders for the first time.
I don't think there was one delegate who was 100% ready to do that. They viewed it as the best thing we can do for the time we have.
The larger co-ops are feeling the pressures of international competition.
This business professor says co-ops around the world are being forced to rewrite the rules as they go, and not everyone wants to.
There is a struggle among the different movements in their attempts to define what a cooperative is and how a cooperative should act.
But more and more it means acting like any other big business. Lilydale Processors, a co-op owned by the poultry producers, is set up in half a dozen Western communities to spread jobs and plants around. Co-ops place high value on community roots, but that may have to change.
Really, the big issue facing us is the uncertainty of down the road.
Suddenly, there are too many chickens on the market. The supply management system that protected the industry is falling apart. If that continues, the pressure will be on Lilydale to become as efficient as every other market producer, who lay off workers and shut down plants.
We're at the investigation stage. We've been visiting other cooperatives, finding out what they're doing and how they're approaching the problem.
Now, co-ops right up the food chain are being pushed into a new era. This is Calgary Co-op Stores. It's the largest food retail co-op in North America. But with over 300,000 members to listen to, that creates its own set of problems.
Are you a member? Yes, I am.
This co-op's up against the most brutal competition ever from the new big box stores. So this past year, co-op executives decided on their own to close down the hardware outlets and spend more on food stores.
It's very expensive to build a new store, and it's also very expensive to renovate and upgrade current stores.
Building stores, closing stores, all done without a membership vote. when the co-op rule has always been one member, one vote. So at the annual meeting this past week, members got their say.
While I appreciate the fact that we elect a board of directors to run the association, it seems to me that something as important as closing a store at least requires the approval of the membership.
Being owned by all of us should have major decisions made by all of the members.
Others say power should be concentrated in the hands of a few.
The business will become very, very unwieldy if we have to have a membership vote on any major issue.
It's a long way from where co-ops began a century ago as a collective way to run business.
Opposed, please? That motion is lost.
In the end, members actually vote down a motion that would give them more say in which stores open, which stores close. From groceries to grain handling, Canadian co-ops are redefining themselves and the cooperative movement.
We have cooperatives from all around the world watching to see how this is going to turn out for us.
Like any business, co-ops want to survive. The question is what they'll become in order to do it. For Venture, I'm Deborah Lamb.
Coming up, some bozos and a wonderful lady. Watch this. Next on Venture, a walk with Valerie, a winter business, a summer business, a business for all seasons, and much, much more.
So if it's unemployable, I better create my own job. So I did.
Everybody is changing. Can a bank?
Well, these old shoes got a long, long way. When the sun goes down.
While digital has built over 1 million PCs for customers in a lot of places, there is one country they're not being exported to. Canada. Because that's where we build them.
First, you've got to open the box. And then you've got to wake up the noodles. Then when it's all perfect, we get to eat. And isn't the best part?
Scotland, a country whose rugged beauty has always bred strength of character and trustworthy counsel. No surprise, it also gave birth to Standard Life, Canada's only major financial institution to have earned Moody's and Standard & Poor's AAA rating. Such are the rewards of exceptional discipline, financial stability, and performance. Standard Life.
Disastrous medication errors.
My husband said, "You mean you killed our baby?" And they said yes.
The wrong drug, the wrong dose. It happens every day, sometimes fatal. Accidents waiting to happen. Marketplace, Tuesday at 7:30.
At Venture, we love our entrepreneurs. But here's an entrepreneur we know you will love. Here's the story of Valerie Kynes.
Morning, Astrid.
So, you want to be an entrepreneur?
Hi, Anne.
Think you're driven? Think you're motivated? Think you can keep up with Valerie?
Yes, it's cleaning and dusting. It's Monday.
Valerie Kynes conducting Monday morning roll call at the Thousand Islands Mall in Brockville, Ontario. But it's back in her own shop where things are really snapping.
Good morning, good morning. On a Monday, I would say that most of the people are people who are known to us, yes. And we know what they like. And that's what they look for. You know, they want to know that you care about them.
Nicholas put his hockey puck through the back window of the van yesterday. You know, the one that cost $600 to get replaced? that one.
I see. Do you still love your son?
No.
No, not today.
Valerie owns this busy Second Cup franchise.
Mark, your usual?
Puts in a 40-hour week on the shop floor.
Ona has been with us since the store opened and is the store manager, the right-hand person. We divide up the jobs. That's one of the things that I decided very early on was I couldn't be all things to all people.
Not all things, but she comes close.
Now we have cranberry, blueberry, butter.
Because even though she's at full speed here at the Second Cup, she's branched out into other businesses too. Nearing 60, Valerie checked into the business world a little late in the game.
That's $1, please.
A social worker and teacher, and a single mom, she'd raised 4 sons out west.
One day I was riding my bicycle and thinking about the future and what would I do when I had finished raising these 4 sons, and the word Brockville sprang into my mind.
Valerie and company decamped the prairies and headed east.
So I rented a 24-foot U-Haul and we made the trek. I knew nobody in Brockville, nobody nowhere nothing, and didn't know a sausage, as we say in English, British English.
8 years ago, Valerie mortgaged her house, took on some loans, and went into business.
I realized at age 50 that I was going to have to work for a long time. I had no pension, no nothing. Basically, I was unemployable. So if I was unemployable, I better create my own job. So I did. Shortbread.
Did she ever? Sales over $300,000 a year. Winner of 8 national awards. An all-star record for a little town here, halfway up the St. Lawrence River, nestled in the Thousand Islands. Brockville. City of Brocks, about 21,000 of them. For a long time, Valerie had the only cappuccino machine in town. Now there's one more, downtown. So far, uptown at the mall, the perking, dripping, and steaming business is still steady.
A fairly good day for us for Sunday and Monday in our store would be $1,000, and our sales were $1,170. So we're doing just fine. Thank you very much.
But it's not just this small business that's got Valerie in perpetual high gear. For a lot of years, she's been motivated by market forces of a different sort.
This is the first year that I have had without school fees. I've had with 4 sons, and they all decided to get at least 1 degree, and some of them 2 and 3. And I have chosen, nobody asked me to, but I've chosen to support them to the best of my ability. So this has been my first year to think about me.
Now, only Odette waits at home at the end of the workday. Make that the end of the Second Cup workday.
Never quite sure whether she takes me or I take her.
Because here at home, Valerie's got another business on the go. It's dog-related, sort of. Odette's daily constitutionals used to make her paws chafe and burn, caused by neighborhood lawn chemicals. So Valerie got interested in natural lawn care. So interested, she started her own lawn business.
Good morning, Brian. Come on in.
Now, on Tuesdays, she sets aside the usual coffee grind and devotes her day off to the Appleseed Organic Lawn Care Company.
Had 4 inquiries about summer lawn care.
Oh, good.
Self-financed with 130 customers in 2 cities. Brian Healy's full-time manager. The rest of the staff is part-time.
The second business was the hardest thing I've ever done. Yes, because it was started from scratch. I didn't have a franchise. I didn't have something to follow. This is something where I had to learn from the ground up. But I still worked all the time at the Second Cup because I needed an income.
Last winter, to keep Brian going year-round, Valerie launched business number 3, Appleseed Snow Removal, another 130 customers.
I've had some very shaky moments by being able to do snow in the winter, and this is our second winter doing snow clearing, so lawn in the summer, snow in the winter has made us a viable company.
It may be a day off, but there's lots of business to attend to. Make that volunteer business.
I don't know whether you know everybody, and I'll come.
Over at the United Way offices, she's playing matchmaker.
What about phone lines?
The Theatre Brockville troupe needs office space. The United Way is willing to share and collect rent.
For a 12-month year is $2,000. So if that's workable, that's fantastic.
Thanks again, Valerie.
Thanks, Shannon.
Wonderful.
Okay, my dear.
Meanwhile, across town at the Y.
And the idea is to make money? Question mark?
Yes.
Sort of.
Yes.
Valerie the consultant.
Because if you're starting to handle food, such as a muffin, then it has to be handled with tongs, it has to be handled with a bag,
The Young Moms Group wants to build a new snack bar at the Y. They want to tap into Valerie's experience to help get them going.
Because retail looks easy. You know, well, people say to me, you know, well, you just serve coffee. You know, $300,000 a year in sales is a little bit more than just serving the odd cup of coffee. Thank you very much. It takes a lot of skill. If anybody says to me, well, how do I do the things I do? Once you've raised 4 children, anything after that is easy. If you're going to be a parent, working outside the home, in my case a single parent, then you have to be organized. You have to have your budget, and you have to live within your budget. You have to have all of those things that are all part of running a successful business.
Finally, back to home base.
Come on in, madam, let's go. I've got a meeting.
And it's not just any meeting. When nighttime falls in Brockville, Valerie assumes yet another identity.
So we have St. Lawrence College.
Counselor Kynes. Just a year ago, Valerie ran for Brockville City Council, but her business balancing act is easy compared to city finance.
It takes a long time to become politically aware. I mean, to know the surface issues is not difficult, but to understand the underlying, the capital expenditures, all of that, I mean, there's so much to read, learn, and inwardly digest. It just overwhelms me. Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Johnson, that bylaws number 596... And maybe I'm a slow learner, I don't know, but it's taking me a long time.
After what passes for a day off,
Good morning.
Wednesday mornings mean back to work.
Okay, off I go with the garbage.
But for the coffee-perkin, volunteering, snow-blowing, politicking dynamo, it's more than just another day, another cup of coffee.
Well, I have to share this with you. What did you get? This is from email from Denmark. Dear Granny, your son, number 2, Peter the Useless, is as of Friday the 19th finished with his exams and will receive his 3-ply master's degree in psychology from Copenhagen. If I had worked with my head instead of my heart, I don't think I would have started a business. But sometimes you go with your heart because that's what you really think you should be doing. You know, if you always look at whether this is feasible, practical, then you never, you know, maybe I wouldn't have done half the things that I've done. Receiving the highest possible mark one can get. And the 90-page work was written all in Danish. Oh, what a present, what a present. What a gift.
Adam Little was out on the road this week looking for those sharp new management techniques that could overhaul troubled sectors of the economy like the Federal Department of Finance or real estate. Well, he found something.
The Holiday Inn on King calls itself Toronto's busiest hotel. With 426 rooms and 3 restaurants right downtown, this is a busy place. Managing a hotel of this size requires a lot of skills. You wouldn't think they'd give the job to a bunch of bozos. But that is what's happening. Meet the general manager, Marlon Karanen. Clown name Montana Mac. That's M-A-K as in his initials. That's what he's painting on his face, sort of.
It's backwards. Because you're looking in the mirror.
He's learning by trial and error.
M-A-K. You put the A line using the line for the K, right? It came out all right.
Karanen and all of his senior managers, from the food and beverage director to the controller, are spending 3 days learning the fine art of clowning.
I've always wanted to do this. Don't tell my wife, okay?
The hotel is shelling out over $4,000 from the training budget for this management makeover. It's yet another bizarre method to promote team bonding and improve staff communications. And this group is only the beginning.
I'm looking forward to getting the next group. The department heads will be the next group of managers in, and then the salespeople right after them. And I think as we progress through the hotel, it's just going to be fantastic.
A clown is not a clown without his nose and his shoes.
This is not just a training exercise. There's another more ambitious agenda at work as well. Karanen wants his managers to actually become clowns, to entertain guests and promote the hotel at charity functions.
You're going to hold the balloon, take Mr. Pointer, put it into the business end.
Karanen will be general of a small clown army.
Fine.
His drill sergeant is Jim Waples, a.k.a. Cooker T.
We will be discussing the following topics during the next 3 days. Clowning uses of children's shows and parties, parades, community efforts, sales for the hotel, trade shows and reservations.
Waples has been teaching hotel staff in the United States to be clowns for the last 8 years. And he has created an army of clowns before at 2 of the world's most profitable Holiday Inns in Orlando, Florida.
And it's now a prerequisite dictated by the owners of the hotel that they must take a clown class.
It turns out Waples' wife is one of the owners of those hotels. She not only promotes clowning, though, she is one. She's also on the board of Holiday Inns International. So the team here at the Holiday Inn on King is slapping on the grease paint, picking out funny shoes, and saying that they love it.
Oh, I think it's great. I think the opportunity for us to get together and really get to know each other better and to be able to look at possibilities of things we can do in the future to benefit others and our guests.
One of the people on our executive staff did say that, does this mean that line number 18 on our job description says that be a clown whenever be called upon? So yeah, it almost is going to become that.
And now, as we say in the clown world, on with the show.
After 3 days of training, the first King Clowns received their call.
Welcome to our group humiliation.
It's graduation day, complete with diplomas and a ceremony. The audience is made up of the media and assorted co-workers, some of whom know they'll be next. Jim Waples, the only professional clown here, acts as ringmaster.
Okay, now, let's get on to a little bit more fun things, and that is the introduction of these clowns. You ready, clowns?
And 7 new clowns are created. Not that they ever thought a career in hotel management would come to false noses and funny hats. In Toronto, I'm Adam Little for Venture.
When we come back, the book business and how some people are trying to make the most of it.
Who better to promote my book than me?
The numbers seem okay.
On paper, everything looked good, so we flew in to take a closer look. We saw idle production lines, the need for capital investment. There were things about this company the numbers alone didn't tell us.
I'm not comfortable with this.
This was one company we weren't going to invest in.
Before we invest your hard-earned money, we invest our time. Trimark Mutual Funds. We manage to outperform.
And 4. Tim Hortons has special cakes for Valentine's Day, or any special day. But whatever the occasion, our surprise cakes are good for any surprise. And you've always got time for Tim Hortons, and for Valentine's Day.
You know, a decongestant tablet can take up to half an hour to start relieving your nasal congestion. A nasal spray like this, long-lasting Dristan nasal mist, goes right to the source of the problem, your nose. So it begins to work in seconds. And Dristan lasts up to 12 hours. Twice a day is all it takes. Fast and long-lasting. That's why I recommend it.
You're looking at one Canadian. Like most who work hard for a living, he looks forward to retiring comfortably. And like over 1 million Canadians, he has a Royal Bank RSP. It's for him Royal Bank offers personalized RSP service, professional advice to help him plan for the kind of retirement he wants, even allowing for the unexpected. It's how we're helping Canadians with their financial needs, one customer at a time.
Are young workers in more danger on the job?
Workers are subject to employers setting whatever condition they can get away with.
To be buried under tons and tons of garbage like that, how did this happen?
The Fifth Estate, Tuesday at 8.
My book. It's wonderful when you can say that. Even better when you can be sure it's going to be published and into the bookstores. Well, last year, Howard Green showed you one way you could do that.
High above downtown Toronto, financial advisor Kelly Rogers threw a party.
Hello there, how are you?
A party to launch the book she'd written on how to select a money manager.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
She paid the bill, not some big publisher, because she was the publisher. Rogers is one of the many people who decided to self-publish in the hope of making more money.
And I had the time, and who better to promote my book than me? I mean, who believes in it more?
2028.
Look at the self-publishing successes. The Wealthy Barber started that way, and it's now sold 1 million copies. In this cookbook series, more than 2 million sold. But wait, don't quit your day job yet.
I think this is a conservative estimate, at least 50,000 books a year are published, and of those, published by mainstream big publishers, of those, Kohl's would pick up less than 10%. So there's an awful lot of books that we are not buying for our stores that are published by the big publishers with marketing budgets, etc.
As a self-publisher, you arrange for everything. You find the cover designer, the editor, the printer, you promote the book, then you distribute the book. It's a ton of work, but you keep more of the money. Publishing a book is more than just writing a book. It's a business. You probably have to contract some help, like someone to edit the manuscript, and you have to become an appealing promoter. Canada's biggest chain gets lots of calls from self-publishers, and they can be a pain. Self-publishers don't know the book business. Little things like how important a good cover actually is, because people do judge books by the cover.
There's already a stigma associated with self-publishing. People think it's going to be stapled together.
David Chilton, author of The Wealthy Barber and the kind of promoter bookstores love, sums up what other people do wrong.
They've invested $20, $30, $40, $50,000 in some cases and a tremendous amount of time and have not done any reading on how to market books successfully, how to develop coupon ideas, where to get your ISBN number, where to market the book through retail channels, etc. All that information is not only out there, it's out there in very, very entertaining forms, in a number of forms. You've really got to do some reading. That's the key to success.
He's right, but not entirely right. Muffin Mania and its spin-offs have sold 750,000 copies, and its authors, Kathy Prang and her late sister Joan, did zero market research. But they happened to time the muffin craze perfectly, and the book was inexpensive, only $5.95. Joan's husband Wayne remembers the day the first run of 2,000 books arrived.
My wife Joni almost had a fit when she saw how many books they were responsible for getting rid of. That was kind of the thought at that time, we got to get rid of these things.
That's right, and then I can remember going to the first little place, I didn't even know how to write out an invoice.
A dozen years later, the books still sell, and they still do it themselves. No fax, no computer. And research? The heck with that.
The other day, and they're on their third order